Hi, I'm David Petersen. I've recently illustrated an edition of Kenneth Grahame's classic book, Wind in the Willows. To be able to help me draw all the scenes that I needed to draw, I did a little bit of model building to help me visualize the world and figure out what it should look like in 3 dimensions. Today I want to show off a model of the interior of Toad Hall. Now this is the foyer, what would be right when you enter the front door. I struggled with myself a lot to not build a full model of Toad Hall, but I just knew that it was going to be impractical. It would be a time sink. I would spend way too much time worrying about details and ultimately not have to draw the exterior enough times to justify it. So instead I concentrated on rooms that I felt I needed to draw. So this is a scene where Toad is being stripped of his all his driving gear, his goggles, his gloves, his long coat, his hat, by Rat and Mole and Badger overseeing. I knew that there was a lot of characters involved. There would be those 4 characters, and there'd be some body language stuff going on. But I wanted the background not to be boring. And I thought by having more than just paneling, by having some of that door, which I'd already drawn for the jacket, I could re-show the door from the inside, as well as, although I have the knocker on the inside, funnily enough, but that was because I didn't know if I would end up reusing this door for a full model, which I did resist. But that was also to help show me where the knocker would be so that I could show the bolt on the inside and that kind of stuff. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is all a chipboard model. The exterior of it, you can see it's just the brown chipboard that the back of sketch pads and Bristol pads are made out of. I trimmed it all down after I had printed out some paneling. This is paneling that I made in Photoshop very easily. It wasn't very technical. And then a tile pattern that I found the pattern online, but recreated it a little cleaner than a photo. And where the grid pattern was rigidly straight in Photoshop. So I printed out the floor and the walls just on regular copy paper, sprayed some adhesive to the outside of the to the chipboard, glued down the paper, and then trimmed up to the paper lines. And then I had this wall and this wall with a door already in there in the Photoshop design, so I could cut it out, and this wall as well. And then glued it together, and I used basswood, which is the kind of hobby wood that they use for a lot of dollhouse trim. I glued that in both on the inside for actual trim that I would use as reference, but also on the outside just for some structure to make sure the chipboard didn't warp a little or start to fall under its own weight. The door is hinged with a piece of blue painter's tape, and all the details on the door are actually either carved or drawn in. I didn't come up with a Photoshop printout for that. But being able to use this model meant that I could change the angle and figure it out, what worked best, what would show off all of the characters, kind of match up to what I had already kind of sketched out for the pile of bodies of Toad on the ground and Rat sitting on him and Mole pulling off gloves and Badger overseeing. And then I could get this great tile pattern in there. That was important to me. To show some of the world that Toad lives in, as opposed to some of the other homes that we see later illustrated in the book, and what they're made out of. So this is the model of the interior foyer of Toad Hall. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy Wind in the Willows. Thanks for watching.